Well, hey, Power Agent, this is Darryl Davis here to go over this spreadsheet with you to help you in deciding about a farm area, if it makes sense financially. So I'm going to go through this spreadsheet may look different than what's on the website. We may change it, improve it, but the concepts will still be the same. So first of all, what we have here is three potential farm areas that we may consider. Farm area 1, 2, and 3. Let's say farm area has 150 homes in it, 200 and 250. Now let's talk about this line here, the estimate cost for mailings. So I'm going to show, if you're not familiar with Excel or calculations, I'm going to show you something. So for this per 150 house farm area, it's going to be $1,800 in cost. You'll see up top here there's a formula. In Excel, this is how you write a formula. You start off with the equal sign sum. And then we've got B2 star 1. Now the star in Excel actually means multiply. B2, if we look over here, there's the heading B. B2, that's 150. So it's saying take the 150 homes, multiply it by 1. That represents $1. That's assuming it costs you $1 to mail out something, right? And then we close that parenthesis, whatever the answer is of that, we're going to multiply that by 12 months. So you'll see it says $1,800 here. But let's say the mailings cost $1.50. So we'll change that. Watch what happens to that $1,800. It just jumped to $2,700. So if I hit Control Z, that's going to undo what I just did. Whatever you do in your farm areas, don't forget to change when you change one calculation like here, that you also be consistent. If you made the mailings $1.50, you got to change it in all three. You'll see that B2, C2, D2, because that's those fields up here. Okay, now, next thing. We put this column here for you on additional marketing expenses, and it's blank because I just wanted to do this calculation based on just mailings. But you may have events that you'll do in a farm area. It may be a seminar on how to sell your house. It could be a party. It could be a more expensive mailing piece that you might do one time, like dropping off those wonderful magnets at the end of the year with the calendar magnets. The next column or line 5, is your average sales price. That's obvious. You just go to your MLS. Now, in this fictitious model, we're saying, farm area 1, he has 250 people. I mean, the average sales price is $250,000. Area 2 is 3 and 350. Now, line 6, you know how to do this too, is your commission per sale. So assuming the average sales price is $250,000 and assuming a 3% commission. Now you'll change that if you need to, if it's 2% or 3.5%. But I use 3% as the selling side, or listing sold side, I should say. And if we go back to that calculation, you're going to see it's saying, all right, to come up with this number, B5, multiply it by 3%. B5 is that number here, the 250,000, right? So if I go to column C, I'm going to see this change B5 to C5, because that's this one, C5. I feel like I'm playing Battleship. You sank my battleship. Okay, so when I click here, C5 changes, and then we've got D5. You didn't realize this was going to be an Excel tutorial to boot. All right, now, here's where it starts to get interesting. So, total number of homes sold in your farm area. So, which, by the way, let me just pause for a second. If we look at just the average commission per sale, yeah, you've got, this is $10,000 here, $10,005. And you've got a farm area 250. I mean, we might naturally think, you know what, this farm area 3 is going to be the better choice of the 3. But it's not, which you'll see. Don't rush ahead now. Stay with me. Okay, so we've done this much so far. Let's look at the total homes sold in the farm last year. So same thing. You go to your MLS stats. You look at how many houses sold in these particular areas. So for this area number 1, there was 20 last year, 23 and 16. Okay, so this actually has fewer homes sold in the last 12 months, but It is 10,005. This is 7,500. Maybe this is still better, number 3. The turnover rate, this is not really a deciding factor in your farm area. It's just good information to know. How you figure out your turnover rate is if you were to take the number of, what did I say here? Total number of homes sold, which in this case is 20, divided by the total number of homes in that neighborhood or in that farm area is 150. So we divide those two. The turnover rate is 0.13. You'll see that calculation here. B7 divided, that forward line is a division. B7 divided by B2. Let's look at that again. That is, it's going to highlight it. You see it? So it's B7 divided by those number of people, and that gives you your turnover rate. So this has a higher turnover rate than this one. So it's just interesting, but that's not where we're going to make our decision. Let's go to the real thing here. So income potential. So what we would do is we would take the total number of homes sold divided by, multiply it by the average commission. So if we had 20 sales in a year and the average sales price was $250, and at a 3%, the commission came out to $7,500 per sale, and there were 20 sales. 20 times 7,500 means potential income of $150,000 in the past 12 months out of these 150 people. Now, you're not going to get 100% of that commission, right? So I put here, let's assume you just got 20% of those listings that sold. In this scenario of 20% of that would be 4, right? So that means that probably your projected commissions that you would make from this farm area would be 30,000 of the 115. By the way, I think that 20% is low after you work a farm area for a year, 2 years. It could even be higher. The longer you work it, the higher it will go. Now, you can change that 20% if you want. If you look in here, we click, there's that darn formula again. And that says B9, which is this one, multiply it by 20%. So you're getting 20% of the commissions because you're getting 20% of the sales. Okay, now, so which actually comes out better? Well, if we look at all this information, you know, we were saying that maybe area 3 would be the best because it's a higher commission. There's more people in the farm area. Less sales, though. So actually, when we do the numbers, it looks like the winner is area 2. The reason why area 2 is better than area 3 is because there was more sales, even though the commission was more in, the average commission is more in 3, because it had considerably more sales in the past 12 months. Continuing on that path, you'll actually generate more cash. So actually, area 2 is the better one. And the second best one, if we look at just the commissions, would be area 3. And then the last would be area 1. Or is it? Let me show you something else that I added here for you just to really complicate it even more. So what we would normally look at is just the money. How much money would I make? This one looks the first best, second best, and third. But actually, that's not true. In business, you have to decide not how much money you make, but how much money you're making based on the money you're investing. In other words, your ROI, your return on investment. So let's just take a look at what that means. If we look at the return on investment, area 2 is still the better one. But area 3 is actually considerably worse. The return on investment is 1,020, whereas in area 1 it's 1,567. And when you think about it too, it's not too much different, these two. That this area 1 actually comes pretty close to area 2. Why is that? How do you do that calculation? Well, let's look at it up here. What you would do is you would take your total money that you made and you subtract it by the money that you spent. Okay, so that's going to come out to whatever number. If you'll see here, there's the formula, B10, which is this, minus the cost is there. Now, you then divide whatever total number is in there It's not showing you, but you take that and divide it by your cost. So essentially what it's telling you is that if you make an $1,800 investment, you're going to make a profit of 30 minus your 18, right? So in that case, it would be 18, whatever that is. Oh, now I got to do math. Hang on. 30 minus 18 is $12,000. So no, I did that wrong. Sorry. We're recording live. I'm not editing. 30,000 minus 1,800 is a profit of 28,200. So we're making, I know you figured that out before I got to it. All right. So we're actually making $28,000, 28,200 on our $1,800 investment. So the return on that $1,800 investment is 1,560%, right? Farm area 2 is higher, but it blows farm area 3. So the point is, and the reason why is because you're spending more money. There's less sales. So this to me is the most important. It kind of makes the decision. Now, if I were an agent, I was struggling financially, trying to build my business, I would go with that 1,800. It'd be less upfront money. The return is still pretty darn good. And that's it. And there's a good turnover rate for it. Actually, the turnover rate is better than farm area 2. So actually, for me as a new agent or a struggling agent, I would choose farm area 1. If I was doing a little bit better off, I would then do farm area 2. Okay, so I hope that helped you. Happy farming. You didn't know I was a little bit of a geek, huh?